Maria adjusted the strap of her worn-out backpack as she slowly approached her usual bench outside the mall. The morning sun warmed the pavement, and people bustled in and out of the glass doors, carrying shopping bags and chatting on phones. But Maria had no money for shopping. She had barely enough to survive the week. She sat down and closed her eyes briefly. Her feet were tired from cleaning 3 offices overnight. Her hands were dry from the constant scrubbing. She had not had a proper bed in months. The cleaning agency paid her just enough to eat and maybe buy a second-hand pair of shoes once in a while, but never enough to rent a place. Her favorite bench was a tiny escape. She came here every day after her night shifts. It was one of the few places she felt safe enough to rest. She would sit here, eat her bread roll, and sometimes doze off for a few minutes. But this morning, something was different. An old woman was already sitting on the bench. Maria paused for a moment. She didn't mind sharing. The bench was public after all. She offered a gentle smile and sat at the edge. The old woman looked well-dressed, her grey hair styled neatly, her jewelry simple but elegant. She did not look like someone who belonged on the streets. Maria pulled out her bread roll and took a small bite. "Excuse me, dear," the woman said, her voice soft and shaky. "Do you have a little money for food?" Maria was surprised. The old lady didn't look like she needed help. She looked like someone's grandmother from a big house, but something about her tone felt sincere. "I don't have much," Maria said truthfully, "but I can spare some." She pulled out the few coins she had left and handed them to the woman. "You can get something small," she said. The old woman blinked back tears. "Thank you. Thank you so much." "Are you okay?" Maria asked, worried. "Are you lost or something?" The old woman looked around, as if seeing the world for the first time. "I don't know," she whispered. "I don't know where I am." Maria's heart skipped. "What's your name?" "I don't remember." Maria gasped. "Do you have a phone? A bag?" The woman shook her head. "Nothing." Maria stood up immediately. "Come with me. I'll get you something to eat." They walked slowly to a food stall. Maria bought her a sandwich and a bottle of water. The woman ate slowly, carefully, as if trying to remember something with every bite. "What do I call you?" Maria asked. The old woman smiled faintly. "I don't know. You choose." Maria chuckled sadly. "Okay, I'll call you ma'am for now." After they ate, Maria didn't want to leave her alone, so she sat with her on the bench. Hours passed. People came and went, but no one seemed to recognize the woman. Maria finally decided to take her to the police. At the station, the officers took one look at the old lady and immediately began making calls. "We've had a missing person report filed for a woman matching her description," the officer said. "She went missing 2 days ago." Maria's eyes widened. "Really?" "Yes. We've contacted the family. They're on their way." Maria stayed by the woman's side. The old woman gripped Maria's hand tightly. "Thank you," she said again. "You're welcome." A few moments later, something changed. The woman looked up, blinked, and said softly, "My name is Patricia." Maria gasped. "You remember?" Patricia nodded. "I live in the city. My son, he must be worried. His name is Ken. Ken Mills." Maria froze. "Ken Mills? As in Mr. Ken Mills of Mills Atlantic, the CEO?" Maria had seen him a few times. Tall, elegant, always walking through his company's floors like a king. She once cleaned his office late at night. He never looked her way. Why would he? She was just a cleaner. And now She was holding the hand of his mother. A black SUV soon pulled up outside the station. The door opened, and Maria's heart skipped again. There he was, Mr. Ken himself. Tall, handsome, dressed in a charcoal gray suit. He looked frantic as he rushed into the building. "Mom," he called. Patricia turned. "Ken." He ran to her and hugged her tightly. "I've been going crazy looking for you," he said, clearly emotional. "Are you okay?" "I'm fine, thanks to this young lady." Ken turned to Maria. Maria suddenly felt small in her worn shirt and faded jeans. She stepped back, but Patricia held her hand. "I want you to meet Maria. She found me, took care of me." Ken looked into Maria's eyes. For the first time, he truly saw her. "Thank you," he said gently. "It was nothing," Maria replied nervously. "She's lovely. I was happy to help." Ken gave a small nod. "Please come with us." Maria blinked. "Sir?" "I could use a friend right now," Patricia added with a warm smile. Maria hesitated. "I don't think I should." Ken spoke firmly. "My mother clearly trusts you. I'll pay for your time if you come with us. Stay with her until we sort everything out." Maria couldn't believe it. Just this morning, she had nowhere to sleep. And now, a rich CEO wanted to take her home. She looked at Patricia's soft, hopeful eyes. Then she looked at Ken's serious expression. "I'll come," she whispered. And that was how everything began to change for Maria. As the car glided through the gates of Ken's luxurious mansion, Maria stared out the window, completely speechless. The house was enormous. White marble pillars stretched to the skies. There was a fountain, shaped like an angel, in the middle of the driveway. Everywhere sparkled like something out of a dream. Maria's heart pounded. This place was nothing like the corners she cleaned at night. A smartly dressed butler opened the door for Patricia, then Maria. "Welcome, madam," he said politely to Patricia. Maria took a step back. "I can stay in the staff quarters," she said nervously. "Nonsense," Patricia said firmly. "You're my guest." That night, Maria slept in a room bigger than the entire office building she used to clean. She lay on a bed so soft it felt like clouds. She tried to sleep, but she couldn't. Her thoughts raced. Could she really belong here? Would they ask her to leave tomorrow? Would someone find out she was just a poor girl who lived on benches? The next morning, Maria woke up early and helped Patricia with her breakfast. They talked for hours. Patricia shared stories from her youth. They laughed and bonded like old friends. Ken watched from afar. Something about Maria made him curious. She was quiet, humble, but full of kindness. 3 days later, Ken called Maria to his study. She nervously stepped in. The walls were lined with books. The room smelled of expensive cologne and leather. "You've been good to my mother," he said, not looking up from his desk. "I just did what anyone would do." Not everyone would," Ken replied, finally meeting her eyes. "I want to offer you a permanent position here, as my mother's companion and housekeeper. Full-time, salary included, room and board covered." Maria's jaw dropped. "Permanent?" "Yes, but only if you want to." Maria's eyes welled up with tears. "Thank you, sir. Thank you so much." Life changed again. Maria now had stability. She woke up each morning, made breakfast with Patricia, and took walks in the garden. She read stories to Patricia and listened to her sing old songs. Ken would occasionally join them in the evenings. He seemed softer around Maria, warmer. Then, one evening, everything changed. Ken's girlfriend, Sophia, came to visit. Sophia was stunning. Tall, elegant, always in designer clothes. Her eyes scanned Maria from head to toe the moment she entered the room. "You look familiar," she said, pointing at Maria. Maria lowered her gaze. "I used to clean your office, ma'am." Sophia raised her eyebrows. "Right, the cleaner." From that moment, Sophia treated Maria like dirt. When Ken wasn't around, Sophia would throw things on the floor and order Maria to clean up. "I don't want to see a single spot," she said sharply. "You're used to scrubbing floors, aren't you?" Dear amazing viewers, how do you think Maria will react to Sophia's maltreatment of her? Will she quit her job or stay? Please keep watching to find out. Before I continue, I would like to ask you to kindly subscribe to my channel if you haven't subscribed yet. Please click on the subscribe button. Much appreciation. And if you are a returning subscriber, welcome back and thank you so much. Now, back to the story. Maria said nothing. She bent down and cleaned. Another time, Sophia spilled wine on the couch. "Oops," she said, smirking. "Clean that up, won't you?" She laughed and called Maria stupid when she didn't move fast enough. Patricia noticed, but her memory was getting worse again. Some days, she remembered Maria. Other days, she asked, "Who are you?" Maria cried at night. She wanted to quit, but she had nowhere to go. Then one day, the worst happened. Ken had traveled for a conference in Paris. Patricia's condition worsened that week, and Maria stayed by her side, barely sleeping. Sophia came in and dropped her handbag dramatically. "Where's my money?" she screamed. Maria blinked, confused. "What money?" "I left $500 in here. You took it." "I didn't take anything," Maria cried. Sophia crossed her arms. "Ken left instructions before he traveled. You're to pack your things and leave. You're fired." Maria's mouth opened in shock. "What? Why would he?" "He knows what you are. A cleaner trying to climb her way into our lives. Pack your things and get out." Maria packed slowly. Tears rolled down her cheeks. She kissed Patricia's forehead goodbye, even though the woman didn't recognize her at that moment. The driver dropped her outside the employment agency the next morning. With no place to go, Maria hoped to find a new cleaning job. Days passed. She slept in the women's shelter, waiting for work. Then, one afternoon, as she filled out a form in the agency, a tall shadow fell across the table. Maria looked up and froze. Ken stood there. He looked shocked to see her. "Maria?" She stood up quickly. "Good day, sir." "What are you doing here?" She bit her lip. "Looking for a job." "Why? Why did you leave?" Maria looked away. "I thought you asked me to." "I didn't," he said sharply. "Sophia told me you quit." Maria's eyes filled with tears. "She accused me of stealing her money." Ken's jaw clenched. "She did what?" "I tried to defend myself, but Patricia, she didn't remember. I didn't want to argue." Ken closed his eyes. "I'm sorry." Maria shook her head. "It's okay. I understand." "No," Ken said. "It's not okay." He took her hand. "Please come back. My mother hasn't smiled since you left." Maria hesitated. After a long silence, she nodded. "I'll come. For Patricia." They returned home. Patricia cried when she saw Maria. "Where did you go?" she asked. "I'm here now," Maria whispered. Sophia came back the next day. She found Maria in the kitchen and sneered. "Oh, you're back?" Maria looked at her without flinching. "Yes, I am." "You should leave. Ken is mine. Maria smiled calmly. If he's really yours, you wouldn't need to chase others away. Sophia fumed. That night, she went to Ken. You need to fire her. Ken frowned. Why? She's making things uncomfortable for me. Ken stood up. Then maybe you should leave. Sophia stared at him. What? I won't let you bully someone who was there for my mother when we needed her the most. Sophia narrowed her eyes. You're in love with her, aren't you? Ken didn't reply. Sophia stormed out. Days turned into weeks. Maria stayed, working quietly, laughing with Patricia, bringing warmth to the cold mansion. Ken began to spend more time with her. They had long talks in the garden. He brought her books, new clothes, even a phone. One evening, Ken invited her to dinner. Maria wore a beautiful red dress Patricia had gifted her. Her hair was packed in a bun. She looked breathtaking. The restaurant overlooked the city lights. Halfway through the meal, Ken held her hand. I didn't see it coming, he said, but I think I've fallen for you. Maria's eyes widened. Me? Yes, you. He pulled out a ring. Will you marry me? Maria gasped. Are you serious? Ken nodded. I've never been more serious. Tears ran down her cheeks. Yes, she whispered. Yes, I will. News spread fast. Patricia clapped her hands with joy when she heard. You've made me so happy, she said. The mansion came alive again. Maria was no longer the cleaner. She was the bride-to-be. The woman who once slept on benches was now engaged to a billionaire. Their wedding was magical. And in the front row sat Patricia, proud and smiling. As Ken and Maria said, I do, everyone stood in applause. They kissed as husband and wife. And from that day on, Maria never had to clean another office again. But she never forgot where she came from. She opened a home for homeless girls. She hired women from shelters. She gave hope, just as someone once gave her. Before you watch the next video, kindly subscribe to my channel if you haven't subscribed yet. Please click on the subscribe button and like this video. Be a part of my channel's growth by clicking on the next video on the screen and drop a comment to let me know what you think about the story. Thank you for watching. Much appreciation.